Hi, this is Robert from GHTR, the nation's podcast radio, on this Saturday afternoon, a little bit after 3 o'clock here in Grand Haven, Michigan. And I've got my co-host Chris Allen, who's down in West Virginia, sitting at home, locked up where he should be. How are you dealing with this quarantine there, Chris?
Well, like with everybody, I'm in Cabin Creek, West Virginia, having cabin fever, but I spend a lot of my time up on the mountains searching for edibles and things to do.
Yeah, that's it, huh?
Yes, I do some, just to entertain my friends and fans, I'll do some Facebook Live karaoke type of shows or solo.
Oh, good God, you're not singing, are you?
Yeah, I do that, and I play the guitar.
Then people are turning that off.
I have a few people that are following it. They seem to like the show, so as long as people are liking it, I keep doing it.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good. At least you're entertaining somebody out there. I mean, there's a lot of them out there that are just still going crazy over what's actually been going on. Here in Grand Haven, Jody and me have been, I can assure you that she's about tired of me right now. Not going to work and all this other stuff that's actually been going on. And what gets me is the fact that no matter how you look at it, it's always somehow affected by something. You know what I'm saying? It's like for instance, today I went to my dad's house and I visited with my dad. And of course, we didn't go in the house. I brought the dogs with me so he could see the dogs. And I said to him, because we had to bring back a meat grinder to him. And this meat grinder, it goes back way in the 40s. But anyway, I brought back this meat grinder, and I called him. I said, hey, okay, we're on our way over. Why don't you go put on a warm coat and stuff and then open up the garage, and we'll all just congregate in the garage so I don't have to go in the house or anything. And he's like, okay, I'll do that, but I'm not happy about it. Like, okay, I get it, And then we get over there, my dad's 81 years old. And he's like sitting there going, I'm not a sheep. And I go, what's that supposed to mean? And he goes, I'm not just going to follow everything just because the government tells me to. And I'm like, spoken like a true older person. I mean, you couldn't get any better than that. And then him and I were talking, and then he was giving the dogs treats, and we're just, the conversation went right into this conversation we're having right now of how everything is, what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to do it? What are some things that we can do to better ourselves and stuff like that? And, it's mind-numbing. This whole thing is just mind-numbing, to say the least. Because, we're all trying to figure out, okay, here's the deal, and maybe you can shed some light on this. A lot of people think this is just overhyped, that this is not a real deal, because we've had flus before in our country and stuff like that, which they're sort of right. I get their point, but to me it's like, here I am. I'm following exactly what our president is telling us to do. His specialists are telling me what I should be doing. I should be working from home. I should stay at home. I shouldn't be going visiting, which, we did carefully and stuff like that. But you see what I'm getting at? It's like you don't know really what to do as a country, what we're in right now, and what's going on. Who are we supposed to believe? Now, here's one of the things. And listening to the news is something that, which news agency do we really need to put our trust into? What one of those they don't lie, they don't make up crap? Which one of those makes it worse than anything? We're getting to that. Yeah, I want your opinion, but I'm just saying. So, as a country, we're supposed to believe what the news is telling us, or by God, why would they lie? And So, yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Go ahead.
Okay, well, first thing, everyone just take a deep breath. Relax. Try to relax and listen. If you're on the right side, everybody say, "Oh, you listen to Fox." If you're on the left side, you listen to CNN. Listen, all networks are trying to get the ratings. So understand what a rating is. If you don't have ratings, you're not being watched. It's that simple. So you got to have the most exciting stories, lies or not, to get the ratings. That's how it works. It honestly does. Our network, we're not going to lie to you. We're going to be brutally honest, and it's going to really piss off a lot of people because they just don't want to hear the truth, or they're not ready for the truth of what we believe to be the truth. And with anything, do your research. Don't listen to what you hear on our network or any network. If it's coming to affect your family, your income, your livelihood, research it. Go to the source. And that's easy to do. Find the source. Google is not a source. Google is owned and operated by a left wing. So is Facebook. There are a lot of things that are like that. So go to the source and find it. Now, as far as with this pandemic, what we're ordered to do that we should be doing, this is not a G5 tower network trying to leak radiation onto people. This is not chemtrails. This is a virus, a very deadly virus. The percent is quite high on the death rate from what the CDC tells us. If those of you may not be familiar with the CDC is, that is where the president has his advisory board, the elite people that we call experts. There are no experts on something that is unknown. So understand that. This is something new to the president and the CDC and every human being on earth. We may know how to kill a virus, but this virus, the human body does not have an immune system, so we cannot defend it naturally. And there's no antibodies.
Well, the thing about it is you hit a good point there. It's like you say, going back to the news agencies here at our radio station. One of the things that we don't like to do is we don't like to say we're left or right. Okay, and we're only just two normal guys out here, and we're looking at what's going on in the world. And I follow YouTube on a daily basis. And I have really, in the last 3 years, I have watched, I used to be like one of those people who, God, CNN is so good. They're giving us really good up-to-the-date news. And now I'm watching it. I'm listening to them all during the Obama years and stuff like that. And I'm thinking all this great stuff that I was hearing that, Obama was doing what other presidents were doing and all this other stuff. So I had no reason to believe, and I know this is going to sound maybe dumb, maybe I was naive, but I thought news agencies, I knew that they stretched the truth, but I didn't realize how bad that they make up lies until President Trump was elected president. And even after he was elected, it took me a little bit longer to realize how much crap that they're spreading. And that's why I talked to Chris, and him and I had both agreed that we don't want to be known as a left or right. But we're only going to tell you what our thoughts are and what our feelings are, our opinions. And I know there's a few of you out there laughing. One of the greatest things that I love about the left is they say anybody that is following Trump, who supports the right, who are Republicans or right-wing nationalists or whatever you want to call it, they all think that the Democrats are all calling us uneducated, jobless, stay-at-home people. And I got news for you. They're on crack because go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with you. I was like, they definitely are way off on there. I mean, I've been to college over 6 years.
Well, yeah, right. We don't. Yeah, right. And you've been to college. I've been to college, and all these other things. Okay, so here it is. Is they think here's one of their things. Like if you say something to them, you know what they say? They say, "Oh, God bless your heart." Oh, You know what? That is the biggest insult I have ever heard, and I got offended by it. Someone said that to me one time because they thought what I was thinking. Yeah, God bless your heart. Like, oh, you don't know any better. What's that?
Have you been drinking your Kool-Aid?
That's a good one. I like that. Yes. But anyway, the fact of the matter is they think that, we're not able to make our own decisions. That's why the left, they want to control us. And they want a socialistic government. Kind of like in the last show when I was talking about how I would really like it if we just had one government. But then again, you brought up one world order, which, you're thinking, okay, doesn't sound like a good thing. Anything that has been derived from that is a negative thing, correct?
It's what your mind lets you think.
Mm-hmm. And so, go ahead.
It's all it is what your mind lets you think. I spent my whole life being Democrat until 2016. And I saw an opportunity to do something different from a person that is a genius in business. And that's what economics, that's business, that's big.
Do you know that they don't teach that in our schools no longer? Econ? Yeah. Economics, they don't teach government anymore?
Well, in college they do, yes. But in schools, no. And that's kind of crazy why they don't, because, when we were growing up, I'm just a bill. I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Remember the the cartoon? We grew up watching that. I mean, it was
Schoolhouse Rock.
Yes, we were always into that stuff, Well,
but
now it's like they don't even teach our kids how to sign cursive.
Well, here's one of the interesting things. Today, or I think it was today or yesterday, I sent you that that little video of that young girl who was talking, and she is definitely a young Republican, as I call it. And I listen to her. I watch her a lot because for her age, she's like saying, you people are stupid. Here's like, especially like them wanting to take over our guns. And, they are not going to get our guns. Do you realize how big of a war would happen?
When we have a pandemic, Nancy Pelosi was trying to throw in a pro-abortion.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Well,
let's take care of the nation's problem right now. That's not the problem. The problem is right now a pandemic.
Well, that's not how they're looking at it. The thing about it is they're trying to do things that, in my opinion, don't have anything to do with this pandemic at this time. And I kind of get what they're trying to do, but that's not an appropriate time to do this. This is, if let me put it this way to you. If she hadn't have stopped it, we would have our money that we need right now. But because of that, people need the money. They need to pay their rent. They need to do this. They need to do that. They need all this stuff covered. And here's what's happening. It's not getting there. It's seriously because they're stalling things. They're so, and just a couple days ago, Adam Schiff, he wants to do another investigation in the impeachment of Donald Trump.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
They're wasting. Go ahead.
America, and I'm speaking, I believe, for the majority of Americans, people that I hear speaking out all the time on Facebook and just in the neighborhoods, they're all seriously, they're tired of hearing this. They're tired of hearing. Let the president do his job, and they're trying to make him stop talking about,
that's not going to happen. Here's something that I just recently heard. And it was like this, that the reason why they want to censor him, the reason why they want to silence him is because he is winning. He is winning the Democrats over. And that's why. That's all it has to do with it. It has nothing to do with anything else other than to silence him, because people are starting to drift towards him because he is actually doing something. As a matter of fact, one CNN reporter was fired because she said this is great that the president is actually doing something. He's sounding more like a president should sound. He's doing what he needs to do, and that's what it's all about. So here, you can look at it any way you want. No matter how you look at it, no matter how you stack it up, the whole thing is that we're in a situation right now in our country that is incredibly, and when I say this, it's incredibly daunting right now, because we don't know what, it's like, who do we listen to?
Leaving all the conspiracy theories behind and looking at factuality, folks, the COVID-19 is real. This is not a conspiracy. It's real.
Well, the thing about it is the left can't. And here's the thing that cracks me up. They're literally saying that he did not react fast enough for this pandemic.
That's insane, because I posted it today where he was posting stuff. None of the experts knew how serious this would actually become, because we did not know this. We did not know this strain of a virus. How could they know? And Trump is responding as a businessman that would respond what he hears. He's trying to be positive to keep people from freaking out.
No, right. And with that being said, them saying this, it's just, back in November, it was brought to his attention. He was making inquiries, and then in January, he put the travel ban. Then he was criticized as a racist and all this other stuff. And then they're saying he didn't react fast enough. Well, you know what? One of the reasons maybe he wasn't reacting to this thing is because they were doing that BS freaking impeachment bullcrap. I mean, that was a waste of time. But you know what? They don't care. They spent American millions and millions of dollars for this impeachment, and it went nowhere. They know it's not going to go nowhere. But the American people are, my favorite saying? They're allowing this to happen. We're allowing them to do this. Pelosi will not be the Speaker of the House much longer. I can tell you that right now.
She needs to go now.
Because she's not making any sense. There's nothing there.
The best they've got to throw against Trump for running for president, like, for example, Biden. Biden is wanting a whole one world government. He also, and I put a video on that where he's talking about that, where he wants that. So you can't say he didn't say it. Go to my wall and find it. You'll see it on the top of my wall. Secondly, the man is extremely forgiving. I mean, I've got videos out there where he's arguing, telling people, I never said that, like the steel mill worker, and then you can go back to his other videos and watch him saying it.
Well, he does. The thing about it is the man has got some problems, and we all know that. Everybody knows that. Even the Democrats are scared now. They're like, "Oh crap! I can't wait for him to go up in a debate with Trump. It's gonna be hilarious." But one of the other things that was brought to my attention not long ago is in the next couple of weeks we're really going to get to see where this pandemic is going to end up. We're going to get to see this. We're going to, we're sitting on the front line right now. We're getting to see it. I believe it's going to change everything about us. This pandemic is going to change the way that America does business with other countries. I think that is the route it's going to take. I really do believe that we're going to lose a lot of people here in the United States. There's no way to stop it. It's on its way. It's gonna take out a lot of great people. It could happen. It could take out someone even Chris, or someone that I'm close to.
I got my buddy Joe Diffie recently.
Right, and the thing about it is it's going to create this thing, and it's going to make us very much stronger. China screwed up, and they screwed up bad. And the thing about it is there's conspiracy theorists, however you say that, out there who are saying this is what they're saying. They're saying that they believe that China had created this virus, in that the Democrats are working with China to create the virus to unleash in America to try to overthrow Trump. Now, You know how I am with this stuff. I'm not one that follows conspiracy theories, because all it is it. Some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't. But this is something that I thought about and thought about and I thought about. Why not? That's how much, I would not. I would, if this was 2 years ago or a year ago, and we were having a conversation like this. There's no way in my mind that I would ever think that the government, the Democrats, would ever do anything to hurt our country. Okay, I would never think that. But with all the lies, everything that I've seen, I do not trust them. The thing about it is our country has become divided, like I said before, and this is true, right?
This is true. Yes, it is.
Okay, so we're divided, and if we're divided, who do we believe? What about okay?
Well, if you call a spade, it's a spade. If you see it, it's a spade. But when you say you're Democrat and you're operating solely socialist, you're not Democratic anymore. So what are your parties actually out there?
A lot of you'd be surprised at how many people don't even know why they're defending this. But I can tell you this, a lot more people have gone over to the middle. And think of it this way. This is how I'm seeing this whole thing. Okay? You got 20% of people who are Democrats. You have 20% who are Republicans. And the rest are in the middle. Everybody else is in the middle. They're the ones that are keeping quiet. They're not talking about it. They don't talk politics. They just watch everything happen. They're in the sidelines. They're the spectators at a football game. Think about that. Think about that analogy. You got the one team that's Democrats. You got the one team that are Republican. They're playing football. Okay. All on the outside of is all the people in the stands watching this all happen, okay? And you got people up there who are for the red team, and you got people who are for the blue team up there, and they're all watching this all take place, this whole game that they're playing with everybody's lives. Think about that. So there might be a person up there that was a true blue fan, but sees the red team. Wow, man, they're playing a spectacular game here. Does that make any sense to you at all?
It makes a lot of sense, but we're in the society that we do not go by the majority anymore. If you cast votes and 2,000 people voted for one and 1,000 voted for the other, well, the one that had the 2,000 votes should win. But it's not like that. We're teaching our kids in school. We talked about this our last show that we had, where there's a lot of people that, well, Billy feels left out, so we should give Billy a name.
Yeah, well, that's that PC crap, and the thing about it is we all grew up. I mean, even our generation, mine and your generation, just talk about that. I remember going to high school. I remember going to school every day. I remember sitting in class. And I remember if I had a wrong answer, the teacher would say, no, wrong. Next person to get the answer right. And that person got that answer right, and he was boasting, yeah, see, I knew you. Was I hurt? No. It just made me think, well, what did I miss here? What did I miss? Right. When we played football, we were out on the field, man. We were there to win. We were there to do the thing. We were there to do what needed to be done. And nowadays, it's like, oh, you both teams, you did a great job. Let's all go out for pizza. Even though you went lost, you're still going to go out for pizza.
Both teams get a trophy. Both teams get a trophy.
That's ridiculous. So and then of course, there's a lot of things going on in our public schools, and then here's the biggest thing that gets me. Is you got a lot of towns, a lot of cities right now that are dividing kids who are going to schools. Now there a lot of places are building these brand new high schools. All right? And we're talking big high schools. And everybody, they have a system that qualifies. Anybody that can go to the mainstream school, the main school, the big school, the brand new one, are going to go to that school. And then you got the kids that aren't so right. They don't have good learning skills, or they don't do well in school. They're the loafers. They're everything else. They go to they get to stay in the old school, and they call that school something different. I forget what it's called, but it's not the main deal. They are dividing kids in schools. And then our teachers in the schools are teaching these kids to hate the Republicans. And I mean, there was a story that this one girl, they had to do an essay, okay? And it was about their hero. And this one young girl, teenage girl, wrote about Donald Trump. She was told by her teacher that she cannot hand that in, that she has to go around to the other kids and find someone to write her essay on. But she's not allowed to use Donald Trump as her hero.
We have a local high school across the mountain in Boone County where one of the teachers actually had a jacket on. It said F Trump, but it had the full word on it. And she had it on her jacket. What is this teaching our children? Just because your political views do not agree with other political views, he is your president.
Oh, that's right.
And I approve of what he's doing. There's a lot of conspiracy. Oh, he's out spending all this money on golf.
Who cares? Jesus.
That's what I'm saying. If he wants to play golf, let him play golf. What does matter is that he was doing an extremely great job for our country. Still is.
Yeah, right.
But let me say this real quick. All presidents, you have your you have all your security that work for you. Whether you're playing golf or you're in the Oval Office, and you spend over $2,000 a second for that. That's what it costs. It doesn't matter if you're playing golf. It doesn't matter if you're playing golf or if you're asleep. It's the same amount of money.
Oh, they were actually complaining because they had the Secret Service at one of Trump's hotels, and they were charging the Secret Service to be there. So if it wasn't Donald Trump's hotel, it would be okay. We could spend the same amount of money. Here's the thing. Do you realize? Here's something that I know that nobody knows. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of idiots out there that think that he has donated every check he's ever gotten to be the president to some kind of charity or whatever. In an interview with him, he says to me, or not to me, but to the interviewer, he goes, I have lost billions of dollars being a president. Billions. Because he goes, when this was all taking place, he had to stop, his companies had to stop all international trading and all this other stuff. He doesn't profit. He has businesses out there, many businesses out there that he's got his name on, okay? But he can't profit from them. So this is one of those deals where someone just said recently, why doesn't he donate one of his hotels as a hospital?
I read that today.
Okay, and the question came up is, if he did that, who's to say he hasn't already done that? And no one knows about it or anything. I bet you $1 million right now that if they needed it, he would give it up in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah, that's the way he's always been. I put on there today, it's like, why don't we let Donald Trump make that decision, what he wants to do, and let him do his job, because he's trying his very best to do from the experts that are advising him what to do. Well,
but that's, technically, if you really want to think about it, that's really not what they feel is actually happening in this whole thing. So, and it doesn't matter what he does. If he had the cure for cancer tomorrow, he would be hated by everybody. If he was through this whole thing. Here's what's I think, here's what my real feelings are about this. First, I hate wasting airtime having to talk about this. We've never done this. We've talked about certain things, and I remember back when Obama was president, I didn't see anything spectacular that he was doing. And I was just like, whoa. And then here come Obamacare. And it was supposed to be affordable insurance, and it turned out to be 10 times more money. It was more. And people didn't have a choice. And you had to have the insurance. If you didn't have the insurance, then they would take your income tax returns.
Yeah. But they did give you a free phone with 250 minutes on it.
Yeah, and that was one of the things they wanted to throw into the stimulus package.
Are you serious?
Yes, they wanted to throw that back in there. Yeah. We don't need that. Here's the deal. If we keep going, let's just say we recover from this, and we keep going in the path that we were going in, people won't have to need an Obama phone because there's going to be more jobs available. And here's another cool thing that I think is going to happen. I think China screwed up big time. I don't think we're going to stop doing business with China, but I guarantee that our pharmaceuticals and our health, anything that has to do with health, any kind of machinery is going to start to be built here in the United States, and it's going to it's going to create millions of jobs for people, because we need to take care of our own healthcare system. We don't need China in there doing that for us, or any other country. We need to take care of it ourselves.
When we grew up, it was something that we personally, speaking for you and me, we used to, in our era, if you've seen something American made, American proud, we wanted that. We wanted to buy that.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it's. I think it's still that way. I think that people are wanting, American-made, stuff.
I don't think so. I think it's where people actually got spoiled by major companies like Walmart, and you're out cheapest product.
Well, you got to be careful on that too. You got to be a little bit careful, because there's a lot of things that are American made in Walmart and all these other stores. Okay, it's just not Walmart. But here's one of the biggest things. As a country, as a whole, we all work real hard to do what we need to do. Okay, you're out there, and you're out there entertaining people, and you enjoy doing that, and it's what you do. Okay, and you've driven truck, you've drove coal trucks and stuff like that. You did what you had to do to survive, and that's what everybody does. It doesn't make you any less of a person. That's just the way life is. Right now in our country, we're faced with something that is going to change the direction of how we do things. Because as a country like we are, even, if you think about it, we can manufacture a lot of things here in the United States. We just have to figure out a way to do it, and do it right. Correct?
That's correct.
So what's to me, it seems like what's the real deal here? What's really happening here in our country? I sometimes wonder how these people wake up in the morning and think that everything is all kumbaya, and it's not. For the past 3 years, all I've heard is nothing but negativity on the left, and I haven't seen anything brought to the table what to make, except for free everything. None of that stuff matters. To me, I just want to go to work. I want to make a living. I want to take my wife out to dinner every so often. I don't want to have to worry about who the president is, what's happening with our money, and all these other things. And I'm sure that other people want the same thing as I do. Think about you yourself. You you've done a lot of charity stuff for people in the past, and you've given a lot of your time to a lot of different things, and so have I. But there's never, it doesn't, but we don't ask for anything in return. We don't ask for, recognition on what we do. That's not the kind of people we are. But there are people out there that will capitalize on anything. That's why I'm so happy that Trump put that deal on. You cannot sell respirator masks. You can't just buy bulk. That guy who had $70,000 worth of mask and hand sanitizer, the police raided this place just last week, took everything because he had hoarded it all. He was going to capitalize on it. He was going to sell it to people. And then 3M, what are they doing? 3M. So 3M makes these masks by the millions, a mask. And they're shipping over to other countries and not taking care of their own country. And you know what they do? They act like they don't care. It's not a big deal. Oh, yeah, but our distributors, the ones that handle that. Well, who are your distributors? So what happens? Trump says, no, you're going to start making that for our country. We'll give you the money. We'll pay you for them. I mean, the guy, the pillow guy, whatever his name is, I mean, he switched his company over to start making masks and stuff. He's doing his part. And look how he got attacked. Doesn't that just...
They come after everybody for anything that they can right now. And if you're trying to help out, people, if we just let everybody do their job to do the best they can, maybe things will go along smoother. And if you cooperate with what the president and your local government said, by quarantining yourself, your family, this actually, we're expected through the CDC to lose upwards of 240,000 people in the next several weeks. Okay,
well, that's an estimate.
If we do not do what we're supposed to do, and we're out having beach parties and things of this nature, it could easily go over millions of people that are, through death, affected through this.
Well, the millennials are out there in Florida on spring break right now, and they're out there partying in big groups. They don't care.
Yep. And they're going to pass it on to their family members, and then when all these people die, and every person that doesn't do this, it only takes one person to start the pandemic.
Right.
It started like that. This is going to affect itself and keep on going. It's not going to end until we eliminate.
Oh, that's true. That's actually pretty true. I mean, the thing about it is we all have to. We're in a country right now that is absolutely a boom. It's going through its crap right now. But think about what it's going to do in, let's say, we get past this one deal. You know what I'm saying? We get past this one deal that's bringing us down and everything else. And we need to focus on those things. We need to really focus on these things that are going to get us, fixed. And we're at a point right now where I think that the more that we keep going in this direction, the more that we keep doing what we're doing. If we could, it's just like I tweeted AOC Cortez here. And I said, can you imagine how powerful you would be? How great you would be if you would stop fighting and stop making up this stuff and start knowing what you're talking about? Because, the girl she's definitely got a lot of great ideas. But the thing about it is she's so, what's the word? So extremists on the things that are not going to help us at all by getting rid of cows. Seriously, they wanted to do away with gasoline, oil, and stuff.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm sure a lot of this has to do with each one of us. Your job, followed your boss, your leaders, people telling you how to do your job.
Right.
She has leaders that are directing her which way to go.
That is true. And the more that the directions that we're going in right now, it just seems like we just need to focus. If you would get the left and the right to work together as one, holy crap, there would be a lot of great things happening in this country right now. A lot of great things.
When I was in Katrina, and same with 9/11, I wasn't in 9/11, but we have a lot of listeners that were,
right.
And I talked personally to a lot of these people that were. That day, and even in one of my songs that I wrote called Why Have They Taken God Away, we were all the same color. Unfortunately, there are some bad that come out, in the bad times, the bad will come out. That's inevitable. I mean, it kind of it may turn into something like a Mad Max, movie or something. Remember Mad Max?
Yeah.
Beyond the Dome. I'm not saying it will get that extreme, but what I am saying, we are in a very serious crisis, and it is not going to be over with anytime soon, folks.
Well, that's actually pretty true. I mean, to say the least. I mean, honestly, just it could go in any direction that we can think of right now. At this point in time, we don't know what's going to happen at this time. And the thing about it is if you want to use the analogies, this is kind of one of those things I was talking about earlier. And what I was talking about earlier is how in the world did we get to this point where what's going to happen? Here's okay. I'm just going to say it because I'm kind of blubbering here. Here's the whole deal. This pandemic is serious. Don't get me wrong. It's extremely serious. Okay? But what it has showed us and what it is educating us is what are we going to do if something really big, worse than this happens? We're not going to be prepared. People will not be prepared. So all those preppers you see that you're laughing at, all those people who are out there and they've been preparing for big things to happen, you know what they're doing right now? They're hunkered down. They're eating food. They're not having to go to the store. They have toilet paper. I guarantee you that. And they're just waiting for someone to come across the fence.
There's a lot of people that have been stockpiled about this that we made fun of throughout the years. We haven't, but there have been people that made fun of this. I've always been a type of person, I've always studied on what you could live on. And I was just talking about that today. Folks, if it really, really came down to it, you could actually take the grass out of your yard and make it and eat it. If you had to eat it raw, or if you had to put salt and garlic in it, and you could find wild garlic, wild onions. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of things that you could find on the hillsides, the mountains, the deserts, the prairies that you could actually eat. And that means, I know you're going to think, I'd never eat a night crawler. Let me say something real fast. My oldest son and I, one time, we're just gooping around. When it rains and the worms will get washed up on a sidewalk and they dehydrate and shrivel up in the sun.
Right.
I went out there with a magnifying glass, where you burn something with a magnifying glass, and I shined my light beam on that worm that was shriveled up and dead on the sidewalk. And I swear to you, it smelled like the most delicious Delmonico steak you've ever smelled. It smelled awesome.
Mind over matter, right?
It's mind over matter. I mean, if you watch these TV shows, which I don't, but people watch these, what's that one, Naked and Alone or something? These survival type of shows. Learn from those, possibly. I mean, and right now, while you have phone and internet, research it, because you may not have it tomorrow. And like what you just said, Robert, if something more serious happened, we got stones floating all through the planets out there, the galaxy out there, that any day one could come in orbit and hit the Earth. What if it has? It has many times before. There are a lot of different things. So remember the show we did? We talked about this last week. In 2011, I believe, we got a solar flare that cut everybody off the air.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
We barely got hit by that. And if it was a direct hit, they said it would have fried our power grid.
Well, I believe that. Okay. So there's a scenario. There's a perfect scenario. So here it all is we this pandemic at this point right now should be something to make everybody think right now and think about this. We need to be able to survive. what we need is we need water, which there's tons of water around here in Michigan. Believe me, there is no shortage of water, whatever. And if you think about it, is they have a very inexpensive tablets that you can throw into water, shake it around, and somehow the chemical catches the bad things in it. Might not taste the best, but it's water. You need water, and you need food. Like you were talking, if you want to eat worms, whatever. I don't care. But what this made me realize is are we really prepared for something big? And I can tell you right now, this is an example to tell you, hell no. We just failed our first. If this was any worse than what it is, society would collapse. And you're going right into those movies like The Walking Dead. I'm not talking about the zombies. I'm talking about the disease and pestilence. No power, no oil, no automobiles. There's nothing to drive our cars with. There's nothing. And you have to live in your house. You don't have electricity. You don't have none of that stuff. And people will rob you. People will kill you for whatever they can get their hands on. So, if something seriously happened right now, at this time, we would be so unprepared that society would collapse. And it doesn't matter how much money you have in a bank. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. None of it. That's why I say it's really important. It's really important that you must prepare for something. Even if you get with some friends who you trust, and say, if anything ever happened, if anything was to ever happen, we need to have a plan. Because people have campers and stuff. You can live in a camper. You don't need electricity, none of that stuff.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
What if you had? You could ask me the same thing. If you have a survival pack, ready to go out that door if you had to go, what would you have in your survival pack?
Well, I would have the necessities, obviously. Anything to be able to go out the door and start my journey going north, where there's no civilization at all. I would have the right tools that I need. Let me put it this way. It's really hard for me to say exactly to what would be in the pack. Okay. Maybe what we ought to do is, not today, but let's have you throw together, type up out there, and we'll put an article on the website and show what people should have in just a backpack. Something simple. Because
you want to make sure you have a volleyball like Tom Hanks did on the cast. So you can have somebody to keep you companion.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is I've already made up my mind. I know where I'm going. I know how to survive. I know how to survive this stuff. But there's a lot of people that don't, and I'm not going to leave my wife. I'm going to take my wife, my dogs, and we're going to be gone. And the thing about it is preparation for it would be somewhat easy because you want to get away from inner town like civilization as it is right now, because you can, like you were saying, we could catch fish, you can grow, you can get all sorts of stuff, and you just have to. That's survival. That's how they did it before we had all this stuff. They grew their own vegetables. They had their own meats and stuff. Of course, I don't think I'd be able to have cows or pigs or anything like that. But I know that I could, have some fishing line and a hook and stuff, and we could eat. We could keep warm. But here's the problem. Our society right now, it would be so built up that there would be people that would, they find you out there living in the woods. They're gonna kill you. They're gonna take whatever they can from you. And if you think you're that big of a badass that it's not gonna happen, it's gonna happen. if you think about these people who are living in houses and stuff right here, like say in towns and stuff, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think that there's nothing that you are going to be on your own? Plain and simple.
Well, also look at what our neighbor countries and cities are doing. They have in China right now. They have drones that are flying the streets with speakers on it, video and speaker, and they're talking to the people. And they're welding people shut in their buildings. So even if you did, you would have to be outside. If you're planning on a survival and not being in like your house, or getting out and not being in a concentration camp, you may have to get out of your house just to collect the foods to eat.
Right.
How are you going to do that? So you have to have everything mapped out, planned out, and have an A and a B.
And perfectly well said. Well said. And that's the thing. You just need a plan. Because here's the deal. This is why it's so important. You make a plan not by yourself, but with the people who you trust. Because you're actually building a small little village. And then when you get a bunch of people who can work together, there's a lot of preppers out there that only like husband and wife and a few kids, and they got enough food to last them years and stuff like that. But honestly, what would their colony be like if they were to have maybe 10 people in that whole deal, and whatever happens, and they had just as much food for all these people up to 4 years? The thing about go ahead.
Many years ago, I got to meet a guy in Atlanta, Georgia, by the name of Alan Rand. He's the guy that filmed Halley's Comet that made all the major news networks. He bought an aircraft carrier. We had a guest on our show that was one of his very best friends that we talked about this many years ago in one of our shows about Alan Rand. And that was one of the world travelers. I can't remember what his name is off the moment, but this guy has his own aircraft carrier and ready for the end of time.
Yeah. I know there's a guy that lives up here in Michigan right now, who has he himself has a shelter, and I know where the shelter's at, and I've been in it, and I'm here to tell you I can go ahead, and I can't tell you where it's at, but I can tell you what he has and how he built it, and it was really remarkable. This guy. We're talking back in the 80s, late 80s. I met him, and he went to the same school I did, and it was kind of weird because I never thought in a million years this guy would be like that. And so what he did is he took his grandfather gave him some land. And on this land, there's like you walk out into this real big open field. It's like he's got 30 acres of land that he has, this guy. And you walk across one part of his land, and about, like, say halfway into it, there's a big ravine that goes all the way down, and there's a creek at the bottom that runs from one end of his land to the other end of his land. And then it goes up, and then there's a wooded area, and then it opens up to another field. So what he did is he dug out, I don't know how much land, how much dirt and everything, but all I know is he built himself a home in the side of a home, in the side of this hill. And it's a 3-story house. It's a tri-level house, and it's the walls are 16 inches thick. 16 inches thick, and underneath this, in the back of it, all right, he took 8 containers, ship containers. And he put them all together on. It's sitting on a foundation, and all these containers are basically welded together.
I think you sent me a video of this, or a picture of this.
Yes, it's all welded together. Everything is welded together. Okay, and the door to get into this is in. Okay, so you go in this house, you go all the way down to the basement level. I call it the basement level. I don't know what he calls it. It's like where his living room is and everything else. And all the way to the back wall, there's a doorway that you walk through. And you couldn't get into once that door is sealed, there is no way that anybody's going to get through that door. Not even if they took a cutting torch or whatever, it would not work. He's got a couple things that would stop that from happening. But anyway, he's got clean air, things that run through this thing. You would never know how he does it. I tell you, I don't know how he does it. I kind of get the idea how he does it. But he can shut down these ventilators. He can basically suck air from outside and it goes through a filter. But these containers, all right, not only the containers, but around the containers, he has a 12-inch wall around it and a 12-inch ceiling over the top of these containers. And he did that over 30 years. It took him to build this whole fortress. So if something happens, okay, this guy's got enough food to last him and his family for up to 5 years. Okay? He can get water from underneath the ground, right? Or he has a way to get water from the creek. And he has filtration to filter it, to do all that stuff. He can take up to 10 people inside that shelter. Now, the thing about it is I said, Jesus, this is kind of excessive, isn't it? And he goes, think about it, man. If anything ever happens, he goes, I want to be safe. And yes, he is very well armed. He has enough weapons to, do what he needs to do.
If I were living under the ground in a situation like that, there are certain people I definitely would not take on my. I would not take certain people I was once engaged, married with. Yeah. I would not. I would not.
You had to go there, didn't you? You had to do it.
You got. That's a very important part about living, because you wouldn't want to chew your arm off living under the ground.
No. Well, the biggest thing is what I'm saying is he's been preparing for. It's going on 40 years now. He's been preparing for something.
Don't take a cannibal. Don't take a cannibal under the ground with you.
No, you wouldn't want to do that. But the biggest thing is what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to make it so that people understand that right now in this time we need to, as a country, we can get through this.
You have to pull together, unite.
Oh, yeah, right. Say it. Say it.
A divided house will fall unless it's a double wide. But we have to have everybody. We don't have to think alike. We don't have to agree, but we need to unite and understand and let the people that are the experts do their job.
Right. I agree with that. I do agree with that. If you're wanting to listen to our show, you can go to ghtalkradio.com. You can actually click on it. You'll see the player right there, and you can click on the little arrow, and it shows that we're live right now. It's actually beaming us up, Scotty, I guess, if you want to say that. I'll put the link. I'll give the link to Chris because he never knows where to get to our website. So I don't know about that.
A while ago, ghtalkradio.com.
I got to make fun of you, right?
Of course you do.
It just ain't that just.
One thing I will like to say though, while we're live on the air, is folks, we know this is very deadly. This is very dangerous, and I'm not trying to scare you. But wouldn't it be a nice time, like if you and your mother or your father or your brothers and sisters were not talking, and you kind of made peace with each other?
That's right. Try to do that for once. But everybody wants to fight everybody, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is.
The world needs to be drama free. I mean, if I could sit there and have a one-on-one meeting with God, and He'd say, "Chris, what can I do to make the world a better place in your opinion?"
Right.
Oh my God.
And
I wouldn't want mosquitoes. I wouldn't want mosquitoes or ticks. And
right.
Just
I'm actually trying to pull up something here real quick. A friend of mine, everybody knows Positively Pamela. She's going to be one of our hosts here on the show. And she's actually, we have a gentleman that we're going to be bringing on the show here in a couple weeks, and he has actually, supposedly, his name is Steven Stars. He has actually created a sustainable bunch of different things, and he's been trying to. He claims basically he has created sustainable living inventions that are on paper, I guess, and he's ready to go to work. Well, I'm going to get him on the show, and Pam, Positively Pamela, I'm going to get her on the show here, and we're going to be talking to him about these things. I'm actually have him here in the studio, and we're going to do an interview.
This would be a good time for people actually to have a project to build. And if you go out right now on YouTube, it's a real simple project to build. You could take 2 nails, some copper wire, a simple LED bulb, and wrap it around it with a magnet out of a speaker, which is just your basic end-dime magnet, or almost any kind of magnet. The more powerful, the better. It's going to make a light, and you can find a million recipes on YouTube how to make a pretty bright light just with a magnet. What if you made about a dozen of those,
right,
and we had no electrical power? They could run year-round and produce free electricity just from a simple magnet.
Yeah, actually, there's a university did some studies not too long ago about basically they have this magnets and stuff like that where it rotates this wheel, and it's been able to. They say, well, it'll continuously run. Maybe that's for another show, but I actually have a video I'm going to send to Chris about that. It's interesting concept. To say the least, but in today's age, I think we're going to be looking towards a lot of wind and solar, and
well, don't underestimate what you're saying there, Robert, because let's look what the Earth is actually made of. We have a magnetic environment. The Earth itself is a giant magnet, and you have the North and South poles, so you have way more power right there just through the magnetic poles that you can make, like the Tesla coil, for example. That's power that's just used from the atmosphere in its own self.
Right. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Go ahead. Keep talking.
There are a certain way. If you live near a stream, a lot of places. I have a friend. I went across a tour with this guy across the United States, Bob Schlamick, and he actually they lived in Camp Happy Valley in Northern California. They had a big giant 12-cylinder diesel generator they bought at a military surplus.
Right.
I think he said it was a 500 or 1,000-gallon diesel tank, and there wasn't very many residents that lived in this place, but they'd all chip in and fill the tank up. Very expensive to operate and very noisy.
Uh-huh.
So they found these tubes, kind of like like what's underneath of a jet ski. You put it in the water, the impeller makes the power, and it will power what you have. But it backed up the creek, the rivers. It'll back it up about 1 inch from what they had enough of them. It raised the water level. Not even noticeable, 1 inch. The Corps of Engineer made him come in and take that out because you're not allowed to back up any supply of water whatsoever at all. Zero.
Right.
So maybe if they had 1 or 2 or something, it may not have been so noticeable or bad or what have you. But there are a lot of ways that you could. I've made one before that I was in the process when I sold my property. If you take large 4-inch pipes going all the way down to a 1/2-inch pipe with water flowing into that pipe going downhill, that pressure on that 1-inch pipe to the 1/2-inch pipe is so powerful, and just having it spray on an impeller that would turn a wheel like take a wheel off of a bicycle that it would turn. That would actually, with like paddles that are on the end of it, it'll spin that thing at a rapid rate, going through a chain like on a bicycle, going through it like a semi-alternator into a battery bank. Then, therefore, you're creating over 5,500 watts per generator just off pressure from a creek, and that water's going back down into the creek. So there's no harm to the environment whatsoever, and you just make hydropower plant.
Well, actually, it's funny that you should bring that up. We talked about this a long time ago, but a friend of mine who, same guy who built that creek that runs through his property there. What he did was he took irrigation pipe and he stretched it out. I forget how.
Irritation.
What's that?
I thought you said irritation pipe.
No, irrigation. Yeah. So he took an irrigation pipe, and it's made out of aluminum and things like that. And so he stretched it. He laid it in the creek, and basically what he did is he didn't want to obstruct the creek because we don't want our friendly DNR, Department of Natural Resources, going out there and say you're obstructing national, and he didn't do that. Actually, he was very careful how he did this. So this pipe is it's a 6-inch pipe. And at the end of it has a kind of like a screen that, and it's going that the water is going into this opening that he has. And it goes down, and then when it goes, I think it's like 2 or 3 sections of this, and then it goes down, and he goes down from a 6-inch to a 3-inch pipe, and then it runs for a little bit longer, and then it goes into 3-inch to a 2-inch, and then this pipe then starts to run uphill, and I'm thinking, that's never going to work. I mean, the water, and it's like he told me, he says, no, watch. And he turned on this thing, and he had water coming out of a 2-inch pipe that was just flowing. And I'm talking, let me put it this way, the water was shooting out of this pipe at least 30 foot. That's how much pressure it had in it. And there's no pumps, no nothing. And so he has that going into a box that he had built out of concrete, and in the center of this concrete box is a wheel, like you're talking about. And he used, I can't wait to tell you this. You'll love this. He used an old tractor wheel, and he has fins on it. So you're talking about hitting that paddle, and that paddle drives a pulley. The pulley drives and goes over to a generator and makes his own. And then the water that spills off from that goes right back down into the creek.
Yeah, it's a very easy process to make.
And he supplies all of his own electricity. As a matter of fact, you ready for this? This is something, maybe we can blame the Democrats for this too. So I talked to him not long ago, probably about 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. You know, as we get older, we all forget how old we really are. But anyway, I talked to him, and I asked him, I go, so how's the good things going out there? He goes, oh, it's going great. He goes, yeah, but, he goes, I had a visit from the state. State come out there, and they wanted to investigate everything I have out here. And I go, what do you mean investigate it? Well, they had somebody who had basically complained or turned me in, is what he said. And they wanted to make sure that I was doing everything legal. And I said, okay. He says they had 25 people on my land for 3 days. And not one of those people saw his pipe coming up in the thing, That's how they were more concerned about this. He has electricity, he has a meter that comes out there, because he pays his electric bill, but honestly, the electric company's been paying him because he makes enough electricity to sell back to the electric company. Electric company, this is where it all comes from. This electric company is the one that notified the state and said that, he doesn't use any electricity. We're sending him a check. We're buying his electricity, and they literally said they're not doing it no more. Yeah. And said that he cannot no longer supply his own energy to run his house. They also told him that he couldn't use his solar panels to collect energy to do the batteries and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I'm saying, they told you can't do that? Yeah, he goes, yeah, they're saying all I have to do is do this, do that. I got to fill all this paperwork out and all this other crap. And I go, you own your land. You pay your taxes. He goes, yeah, but you know what? He goes, really, honestly, he goes, they gotta have something out of it. They gotta have something. With all his solar, his windmills that he has, he collects enough energy to sustain himself and his family.
You have your own powers, your solar powers, power supply for your house, but you have to pay so much of it to get free power from the sun. Nothing's free in this world.
Yeah, I know, but see, he was living. And the other thing is, he was paying for internet service. He was paying for.
You're paying taxes on everything, even your house, your car. You're paying
I know. And the thing about it is all the people that were doing all this tests. But the good part about it is there is a little bit of good here. Okay, is he said one thing that they did is he said he had his lawyer out there. And his lawyer was saying that because his lawyer, it's just a friend of his. I think it's his brother, honestly, to make sure that they weren't going to try to do something or make any accusations that weren't true. Basically, is what I'm saying. And the one thing that they did say is they'd never seen anything so perfectly done. And they literally saw this guy. One of the investigators out there from the EPA was saying that everything that he did normally would be an offense, but because he built all this stuff over a certain amount of time, it doesn't, with the new rules, none of his stuff, he didn't have to remove anything, he didn't have to have anything else, he just had to fill out a bunch of paperwork, is what he ended up doing. But what got me about the whole thing is when they wanted to enter his safe room, his lawyer said that there was nothing in that room that they needed to see, and that they had no rights to it whatsoever to go in there. And he thought that there was going to be a huge fight. He thought there was going to be gunfire and all this other stuff. But they said, you're right. There's no reason why we need to go in there. And because it's a shelter, it's a safe shelter, they call it.
Like another Waco or something.
Yeah. And the thing about it is everything that he had done over the years, he had built, everything that he had done was because he was a Mother Earth News guru. That was it. He loved Mother Earth News. He loved self-sustainable energy. He loved the fact that he could live off his land. And the good thing about this, if you're thinking that if I showed you a picture of this guy, which I think I did, he doesn't look like anything like you're gonna think that he looks like. Like he has a long beard, he dresses in burlap bags. Him and his family live like normal human beings. They live like everything, and his wife has a job. She works at an agricultural company. She does agricultural stuff. She's a, what do they call them? I forget what.
A horticulturalist?
No, it's something. I can't. Botanist. She's a botanist. And he works. He used to work at a mill, foundry. He made money. Their money goes into the bank. They have a bank account. But you would be surprised at how much they don't pay for. You know what I'm saying? They have, like I said, they have satellite TV. They have internet. They have cell phones, believe it or not. But the thing about it is if anything ever was to happen, he would be prepared. He is prepared. He's prepared his whole entire life. But he also has many people who he has. I'm not one of them people. Unfortunately, I didn't make it in there soon enough. But he told me, don't fret. You know, if anything happens, you can come this way. We'll be sure to help you out and whatever. He wouldn't turn me away. But that's not where I would go anyway. I have my own.
Depending on other people to live off their. You know, a simple thing to do is just make sure you have clean water, a simple water filter. Mm-hmm. And if you can't afford it, there are cheap, free ways you can make water filtering it through sand and different devices, charcoal.
Yep. And matter of fact, you're right. Yeah, yep. Keep going. Yep.
You can keep filtering your water, but one thing that is really inexpensive and great to have, you have these solar lights in your yards. Everybody has them. Those solar lights put off a light for 4 hours or more. But you could actually put them together, make them larger to make more of a higher amp rating to charge bigger devices.
Right.
And if you're not that much of an electronic type of person, great. You could go out and buy you a Yeti or something else really inexpensive. I don't know if eBay's still working out there and delivering, but you could, if we were in a better situation, it's a good thing to have in your house. It's just a simple fold-out solar panel that you could charge your phones, your flashlights, your little electronic radios and things of that nature. Because you'd be surprised if you had nothing to do. I bet most of you'd be card experts within a month.
Well, the thing about it is we'd be able to do that. We all have this talent. We all have this stuff that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? And we are a society that is built on a lot of great things. We have a great country. We have a great world. Let's just say the world. We have a lot of space junk up there that we need to take care of. I can tell you that right now. There's a lot. And matter of fact, I forgot to send you that link, but don't let me forget after the show. I need you to watch these 2 or 3 videos. That's Chris's homework for our next show, because that's actually what we're going to be talking about. Is what's going on in the heavens, what's going on, what's really amazing is our technology is the other day I was telling Chris about how they were able to analyze a speck of paint from.
That's insane.
I was like, are you kidding me? And we don't have a cure for cancer, but they can do this? Are you freaking kidding me? It's just like, that's how great, we have such great minds. And like I said, that's going to be one of his mind actually, a great mind actually could be a demise of a society if you depend on other great minds. Depend on your own great mind. Right. And then there was a topic that was brought up not long ago. When we have Positively Pamela on our show, we're going to be doing another show here not long. Maybe, I think next weekend, we're going to be doing a show. It's going to be on a Sunday, I think, or it could be on a Saturday. But whatever the case may be, me and Pamela, and if Chris wants to join in on this, is totally great. But
well, I'm sitting in my house with nothing to do, so yeah, okay.
It's like, I ain't got nothing else to do, so why not? Yeah. Well, social distancing is a great, if you live with somebody or your family members or whatever, unless they don't have hearing, it's like, hey, Grandma, I love you. Bye. Yeah, one thing I'm going to stress, though, is that everybody needs to take some things seriously, okay? Companies like AT&T, Verizon, are at this point right now, they don't give a crap right now if there's a pandemic. I'm going to tell you that right now. They don't quite care. They want their money. So you better be making those payments, or you got to make a payment arrangement with them. Landlords, they're just going to want their rent. There's no way that they're going to say you don't have to pay your rent. So all you people are out there talking that crap, you still have to pay your rent. There's no relief there. Basically, at this time, as of today, there's no relief there. So, you need to, right now it's priorities. What's a priority to you? If you don't have a job, you got money coming. I mean, our government's going to take care of us, and they're going to do that, regardless of what everybody else is saying. Do you know that there's people out there right now who are asking the question, how can I refuse to get the check? I don't want this money. So, yeah, give it to somebody else then if you don't want it.
Leave my address in the comment there.
Yeah. But there are people out there that are actually that have that. Because you know why? Because they're too good. They don't. That's how much they hate Donald Trump, because, yeah, I don't want that money because it's coming from him. Yeah, well, crap. And here's a breaking news. Ben Shapiro tells Congress the truth about leftist insanity on college campuses. That is the subject that we're going to be talking about. You have no idea of how bad it is getting, that they're paying people to go out to these universities and do these rallies and talk. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to push out. I got news for them. And this is something that young girl that I gave to you to watch, she's a college girl. And this is why I say she has many followers, many people that believe in her, and many people that back her up. I honestly believe that the Democrats think that they have a majority of the people. They have a lot of people that are idiots, but I shouldn't say that. I really should. I'm putting myself in there. Go ahead.
Both sides have a lot of idiots. Let's put it like that.
Okay, I'll go along with that. Okay, so here it all is, and it is. I honestly believe that we're in a situation right now. We need to stop this crap. We need to stop the fighting between the left and right. We don't need to have this happen in our country. We need to form a government that is one-sided, down the center. Everything's going to work out great. We're going to take care of the matters that mean the most. It wouldn't change anything in our lives. It wouldn't change anything. But the fact that, do we have to have a left? Do we have to have a right? Or couldn't we just have one government to run the whole thing? I know it sounds stupid, but the thing about it is that's how I feel.
Okay.
I mean,
if we had one government, that means we'd have probably no borders, which means, there's going to be a lot of social strife.
Whoa. Why would you say that?
Well,
if we had one government,
First of all, they're already trying to get one currency to last at any country. You can take your currency and it spends in Europe.
Okay. All right. But you didn't answer my question. Why? If we had one government, we could still close our borders. Are you saying that one government would be the Democratic side?
I'm telling you what they're trying to do. It doesn't matter what you want to believe they're going to do. What I'm telling you,
who's trying to do what?
My opinion is what they're striving for. I put 2 videos out there today, and you can watch it and see what they're talking about in more detail, and follow and learn what that person wants. First of all, if we have one world government,
no, I didn't. No. No, I didn't say one world government.
You did, and I did. That's what they're fighting.
Okay, take that. That's out of the equation. I'm talking about here in the United States, not a left, not a right. I don't want you to have the faults. What I was actually talking about.
Mistaken what you're saying. I'm sorry. Now I see what you're saying. I see the light.
No, if you, it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with one world order. Okay, that's actually the end of times, and we're in the end of times right now anyway. But what I'm talking about is I value your opinion, and I sorry I shut you down like that, but I didn't want anybody to get the wrong idea of what I'm talking about. I'm talking about our government, not the world government. I'm talking about the left, the right. Okay, we have Republicans and we have Democrats. Why don't we just call it DR or RD?
Why don't we just call it president-elect? People that are running.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. That's absolutely right. You know, the thing about it is let the people decide who the president. The president is the leader. But if we got both of these sides to work together with no fighting, no impeachments, no make fake news, and everybody's trying to get the country to be a better country, what could we do? How powerful could we actually be?
I think a lot of it is actually people want to be the star. You know, how many times does Nancy Pelosi say something stupid and she's on the front page of everything?
Well, she's being stupid on the front page.
Well, even then, I mean, she's getting out there. She's getting heard. She is like the most talked about person out there.
Well, you have something there. The thing about it is who's going to be the star, you know? And it's like Mark Zuckerberg and Google and all this other stuff. You know, these people are taking a side. Did you know this is I watched this happen. I could not believe it. I wanted not to believe it, but when it happened with us, I was like, there's something going on here. So I can post anything on the Facebook page, okay? And I post a lot of links, okay? And I post things from CNN, I post things from other MSNBC, anything that has to do negativity towards our president, and I post it. They give me the capability where I can boost that. And what boost means is that I can push it out to more and more people. If it's anything negative, they don't allow me to boost it. And I couldn't believe that happened. But think about it this way. They control what they want you to see. That's why I go to YouTube. And I watch, and I go and I find the videos that I want to watch. They don't take down videos there. I know that. But now they're taking down videos. If it doesn't go with the community rules, they built rules, and if it goes against the rules, they can remove the video, or they can stop anybody from finding the video.
But have you ever been to the community and seen whose community it is that is not their standard? I personally went to their trailer park and seen it. Everybody's got a mullet there. They do.
Oh, and you better be careful. So but see, this is what's happening. You know, I would like to believe, you know, it's just like when I had Pamela. I don't know if you watched the video between her and I. There's a lot of things going on, and she believes a lot of things out there, and you know, I'm the type of person. Okay, if that's what you believe, all right. You know, it's like okay, but the thing about it is there's a lot of things that we could do. You know, if you work as a team, if you work together, you can accomplish so much more. But we got these people who are fighting just because they hate Donald Trump. They hate him so bad. They want him gone. It has nothing to do about our country. It has nothing to do about policies. It has nothing to do with about a virus. They hate Donald Trump, and they hate him because he is stirred up the pot.
Well, they could legally get away with saying, I wish he would get the coronavirus and die. They could post that on these social sites.
Oh, yeah.
And not be in trouble whatsoever.
Madonna called for his assassination, and she got away with it. Nothing's being done. If you or I were to get on the air right now and say anything about having someone shot, I guarantee it would get to those people. You know, the thing about it is
I've been in jail many times.
Huh?
I've been in Facebook jail. I'm a known Facebook inmate.
Oh, Lord, I don't know. Yeah, but you say some pretty dumb things sometimes, so I go along with it. Yeah, you need to be put in jail a little bit more often sometimes.
You know, I've met the coolest people in jail. Donna Jamico, if I'm pronouncing her last name right.
Yeah.
You know, they get out there and they put their name out there. They get complete harassment 7 days a week because whether it's left or right, they're putting the truth out there because people don't want to believe what they don't want to believe.
That's
if you
true.
think it's this way, and it's that way, then that's the only way it is.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like I told you last week, I have a friend of mine who I adore. This guy is an amazing person, most intelligent person I know. To be honest with you, most intelligent person I know. And he was a Vietnam vet, and he is like saw me post something on my wall, and I my phone rings and I go, oh God, here we go. So I answer the phone, and he sits there for 45 minutes explaining to me everything that was wrong with that post. And I'm like, okay, so I can't post these things because I have friends that are, that's why you never see a lot of stuff, political stuff on my page, on my Facebook page, my private page. And it's because of that. And
you have to be politically correct on everything you say. It's exactly like when we did our Chris Allen's Worldwide Monster Theater. You corrected me about telling people that I saw Bigfoot or I mated with a Bigfoot. I tell people I believe I mated with
You have to do that because, the thing about it is I remember me telling you that. It's not that I don't believe you. It's how people will perceive you, how you say that. And after I told him that, you agreed with me, though.
Yeah.
You agreed.
2 less pills a day.
You agreed because what was so funny about it was it's kind of like the 9/11 deal where I shut you down completely. And it was just like, I go, after we're off the air, I'm going to explain the whole scenario to you,
And I wish the world could hear that part because that made the world, I've got all these ideas like everybody else does. And, it's this, and it's demolition here, and it's all that and this. And I'm not going to go into any of that. But the point was, I'm not saying you, Robert, I'm saying you, the listener, may not have a clue what that was all about. But when you hear it, what it really was about from how it happened, there's a lot of things that you will not know as a listener, or me, myself. There's a lot of things in this world that we may never know the answers to. But that doesn't mean you're right or wrong. You just have to, your mind, and listen to both sides.
Well, the thing about it was I was willing to listen, which I did, until it got to the point where I was like, yeah, I'm not listening to this anymore. Because here's why. All right, it's because everybody has their own theory of what's happening, and then you got these people who are actually causing other people to think differently about how this stuff happened. Do I believe that? Do I believe that that our government had something to do with these planes? Do I believe that they were military planes? No, I do not believe that. I will never believe that. I believe that there was people on these planes. I believe that there was terrorists on these planes. I believe all that. And I believe that they hit the trade towers. I believe that they crashed into the Pentagon. I believe all that. Okay? But what I'm not going to believe is I'm not going to believe any of precision demolition did not happen, and that's as far as we're going, because we are going to have a show about that. And I am going to explain to you what I explained to Chris. Because when I told him, he goes, what makes more sense?
It was Robert up there learning how to cook, and it just backfired on him.
Yeah, it did that. I was just like, yeah. I was just like, But the thing about it is we can't listen. And it's just like the deals with the Bigfoot stuff. I really so want to believe that this is something that is absolutely true. But like you were saying, until you are 1,000,000,000% so positive that you can prove it and shoot them.
I'll tell you.
Don't shoot them.
I think you can go see one at right now if you want to go see one, though, because you can't travel. Go to the Smithsonian Institution and look at the Bigfoot they have on display up there. It's not the model. I'm talking about the actual bone, the tooth, the things that all scientists know existed less than 11,000 years ago, but they
That
believe they.
may be true 11,000 years ago. I would believe something like that. Okay, but in today's no.
What would have happened to make certain light like the short-faced bear? There are a catastrophe that happened that made certain animals become extinct in that short period. 11,000 years, folks, is not that long.
We definitely got to get you on the air with Pam. You and Pam would be able to yak all through the show. Believe me, you and her,
lived here in the North American continent for upwards of 3,000 years.
Right.
So they coincided with the short-faced bear and the Bigfoot.
Yeah. Well, you can bring this conversation up on your what's the name of the show again? Monster Theater. Yeah. Oh Lord. Yeah. I mean, the thing about it is it is what it is. I get it. I get it. 100%.
This has nothing to do with anything, but I want to put something out there real quick. Robert put together the intro a long time ago for my radio show, Monster Theater. And it's actually Quincy Jones, folks, that did that. Guy's amazing. You may know his name, Quincy Jones. He's well known.
Yeah, good friend of mine. So, I need to get a hold of him because I don't know if he's still kicking or not. He's up there, but it's been a while. And then the other day, I was going through some a lot of our intros and stuff, and ended up on Blog Talk Radio, and I was actually pretty surprised at. It's funny to hear when you first start out, and then after years. I mean, right now it's like having this conversation and knowing that you're on the air and you're doing this stuff, and
Remember that time you flew down to Texas when you got the bright idea of putting that guy Tex Peckerwood and gave him his own radio station?
Yeah, I think we lost that show. You got it. You have to have it somewhere. I don't know. I might have it somewhere.
You did it live from his trailer park, and that was like the most insane thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
He is actually mooning everybody out there and pulled his pants down on live radio. The air, look at this. He's sitting there showing everybody like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it."
That was horrible. That was a horrible evening, but it turned out okay. I mean, the guy is an extremely good, nice guy. You want to talk about conspiracy, boy, oh boy. I mean, he's the Ayatollah of conspiracies. I mean,
he was taking dead skunks on the side of the road and making toilet paper holders out of them.
Or the one he gave me was an armadillo. It was like,
yeah.
And then I had to throw it away because he didn't take all the innards out. He just stuck toilet paper in it. That's how he did his taxidermy. I go, how did you do that? He goes, I just keep ramming it in there. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Has a Facebook page out there as Tex Peckerwood.
Yeah.
It's spelled exactly what it sounds like, Peckerwood.
He is definitely a strange man. That's for sure. Yes. It's good. So anyway, yeah.
That makes it glad we still have the Second Amendment.
That's true. But anyway, so getting back to ground zero here. So a lot of things, basically that we're going to be doing, little changes here and there. We're going to be bringing Late Night with Rob and Chris. We're going to be bringing that back. It's probably going to happen in probably a month or less, depending on scheduling and stuff like that. But
what Late Night and Rob and Chris that was such a fun show. We bring guests in, but we had so many local garage bands that were great. Original music. Oh, yeah. We played these bands, and a lot of them got major label signatures. Noah Guthrie, Luke Bryant. There's a bunch of them, and one of them, remember Christina Gimme? She won The Voice.
Oh my God, yes.
And these people, there's a lot of talented people out there. So that was a really interesting time of our life to have a show like that, and to bring this 8 celebrities on to inspire the upcoming artists.
Oh, I know. And the thing about it is looking back on these shows, and it was, like Christina Grimmie. It was, I mean, before she was on The Voice, before, I mean, anything, she was out there behind her keyboard, and she had such a great, great personality, you know. So I got a comment here. So the thing about it is I remember that interview. I think I have it somewhere. I have to look in our archives and stuff. But I remember the one question that was, you know, is she just says, "Oh, I just love what I do. I just love it," you know. And of course, when I seen her on The Voice, I seen her dreams coming true. And you know, it's sad that someone took her out. Just someone who didn't do anything to anybody, you know. And it's just weird how it all works. So. Give a shout out to Marilyn, who's one of our listeners, longtime listener. She just said hello, guys, and stuff like that. So, yeah. Anyway, so getting back to what the show was about, kind of. As a country, we need to make a decision. You need to make a decision. Don't let anybody make the decision for you. Do not allow people to do anything other than to, you know, sway you on your way of thinking. There's no conspiracy. All it is the people who hate Donald Trump want him out of office. He's not doing anything wrong. He hasn't done anything wrong. He's not lying. He's going based on, and if you notice, you know, the thing about when he says we're doing great, he's saying he's including our country. We're doing things we've never done before. That's our country. That's not him. He's including everybody. And then these leftists make up this total bullshit, excuse my language, of how it is, you know, sincerely his fault. He's taking credit for Obama's stuff. He's not taking any kind of credit, because Obama didn't do crap. He didn't do anything, guys, and if you think he did, show me the proof. There's nothing you can prove to me that he did anything. So, I don't know. But as a country, we just need to stop this. And right now, we need to come together. I mean, the place that I work at is an amazing place. Love my job. I love the people who I work with, and I've made some really good friends. And
the best pimp I know.
What's that?
I said you are the best pimp that I know personally. Yes.
But the thing about it is in today's world, work is great and stuff like that. You have to have a team to be able to make things work, and you have to look at everybody as an equal. No one's better than the other is what I'm trying to say. And
now, if you blow the dust off those board games and get out and play checkers with your kids, or something.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, of course, I do love playing my Xbox. I'll give you that.
Don't play Twister, because you can't play Twister within 6 feet apart.
That was funny too.
I got a problem too with that 6 foot. For example, I want to say this real fast. I may not have said it yet, but if you know anybody that smokes cigarettes or whatever, and they blow the smoke across the room in a room without a fan on, look how far away that smoke blows. So just be careful. 6 foot is on the minimum side to be safe.
Right. Yeah. At my dad's today, we're making a joke about that, saying, "Oh yeah, we're distancing ourselves." And Jody, my dad, looked over at Jody and look how far away she's getting. She must be really scared. Jody's like, I'm just staying my distance. You know, it's just like, and I kind of explained something to my dad though, and I hope he got it. And what I said is, I said, look, okay, we're not saying that we have the virus, but we've both been to the store. We could have it on our shoes. We could have it on our clothing. And then we come into your house. We happen to brush against something, and you get the virus.
And it can sit dormant there for a while.
I mean,
we don't. The CDC still to this day does not know very much about the virus as far as how long, and they're rushing for a cure, a vaccine for this.
Right.
Okay. Just because you're rushing doesn't mean you're going to make the proper mixtures to make a vaccine that may not have a worse side effect. But the point is prevention. Try your best for prevention and keep your hands clean. Everything you touch. And when you go to the public store, I seen the other day somebody had latex gloves on, and just to keep from boredom, they painted fingernails on it. That was so cute.
Yeah, a lot of people are doing that. They're drawing faces on the mask and stuff like that. So, and another thing I did find out is you don't need to have just those masks. You can create your own mask out of a handkerchief if you want. And matter of fact, there was one guy that made a mask out of his wife's thong. I was laughing my butt off when I saw that. I was like, well, I guess, it went right over the top of his head.
But I can tell you, from experience, don't use those large maxi pads with the tape side, because it will pull your eyebrows off.
Yeah.
I did this.
Yeah, I know you did this. You did that when you were in the hospital. It was funny.
Yeah. It pulled my eyebrows off.
Oh, yeah. I just had to laugh on that one. That was a good memory. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, you got to stay clean, like he's saying. You got to just keep away from people. As a matter of fact, there was something that was brought up in a interview. I think it was with Donald Trump, and he says, this thing might change the way we do business. We always did business with a shake of a hand, and he says, and I think that those days are going to get over. He says, even when this is over, I think people are going to have a new sense of togetherness. I mean, honest to God, they're shutting down festivals. They're doing all sorts of things to stop this.
Right there, Robert, means that there's no chance in hell that Biden can make president, because he likes to grab and hug everybody.
If he remembers how. I mean, that poor guy. I actually feel sorry for that guy. I hate to say this, but I do feel sorry for him. I have a heart, and I do feel real bad for this guy, because he's definitely, I'm sure that in his younger years he was a go-getter. But this guy,
governor, did you see the pictures of the governor of New York where he had those nipple rings in?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. I feel kind of bad for him, because he's everybody wants him, and then now the Democrats are trying to figure out a way of getting him out of there and appoint somebody else. But they were going to appoint the governor of New York, and the governor of New York said, "Nah, I'm not interested in that." Which I actually laughed a little bit when I heard that. So it was funny. It was hilarious, to be honest with you. And then everything that's actually happening, it seems to get worse and worse and worse as we go along. And
surprised me just to piss Trump off that they would get Rosie O'Donnell to run.
That woman, I do not have anything good to say about her. I'm sorry.
Well, it seems like they do. They're picking the ones that would just be the quite opposite.
The thing that gets me is the one that I told you. It's insane. How are these people, these people from Hollywood, they're just actors. They are nobody. That's all they are. So what if they're a celebrity? What are they doing? What are they doing? I wonder if Rosie O'Donnell gave up that 100,000, bought those 100,000 books that she promised that one guy. I'll bet you she didn't. I'll bet you she didn't. And I'll bet you she hasn't done anything to charity. Tell me, you're sitting there bitching on Twitter all the time. Rosie O'Donnell, let's see, Rosie O'Donnell, John Cryer, Chelsea Handler, and I actually lost all respect. Whoopi Goldberg, all those other idiots out there. What are they doing? They're not doing crap. They'll lie to you and say they're doing something, but show me the proof. Show me that you're doing this crap. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen at all.
the same story here. Where he's a draft dodger. Well, okay. Well, I don't remember most of the other presidents. Bush did, but a lot of presidents never fought either.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we can definitely, yeah. It gets worse and worse as we go along. I and the thing about it is the more that you say that, the more I get like aggravated about it. I mean, seriously. Because no, you're about right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what is it seriously going on with these people and in their heads? I have no idea.
Get rid of.
What's that?
Just something to insult to get rid of. If you don't approve of it, you don't like it, throw it away.
Yeah,
we live in a disposable society. Take your straws and throw them in the ocean.
Oh, they're not going to do that.
No, I'm saying that's what they've been doing. It's a disposable society. That toxic waste destroys society.
I agree. Oh man, I tell you, the more it happens, the worse it gets. So we're gonna be like I said, we are going to be reliving some of our shows. We're gonna get them back on the air again. I'm sure that a lot of you people have been wondering where everything is, and what happened is life happens. To be honest with you, life happens all the time, and so just keep that in mind. We're human beings just like everybody else, and Chris has been through a lot. He's trying to definitely get over a lot of the stuff, and he's getting back on track, which I'm very, very happy about that. And I think he's doing a fantastic job trying to get there, and we all should support him.
Thank you. I'm a very patriotic American. And as I said a while ago, for these stimulus checks, please, guys, if he's not your president, I will be more than honored to take those for you.
And he will too.
Yes, I will. I'm an entertainer, and there's nowhere to entertain right now. So, other than the radio, I will help you out, and you're helping your fellow American out.
Aw, don't you feel bad now?
No, I don't. I feel like I'm helping America out. They sent me their checks they don't want. And I'm not going to complain. I will actually send you a handwritten thank you letter.
Oh. It is what it is, right?
Right.
So
I'll have my dog.
All right, guys. So we're gonna get going here. I want to thank everybody for listening to our show, and I hope everybody's out there staying safe. Keep your distance. Wash your hands like everybody else. Do what you need to do to make this work. And we'll be having another show soon. We're going to get down to a little bit of a schedule here coming up soon, and so once that happens, then we should be on the air. We got a lot of technical glitches that we're trying to work out, and I hope that everybody's hearing us tonight, which I guess everybody's hearing us. So I just wanted to say thank you for all listening, and be sure to visit our website at ghtalkradio.com. Go there, listen. You can listen to our podcast there. There's a player right there, and you can go right there and you can listen to it. You can listen to some of our past shows and everything like that. Make sure you share all of our podcasts with everybody that you can, and we'll get some things worked out. We're going to be bringing back, like I said, Late Night with Rob and Chris. It's going to be coming back soon, and then we're going to be doing what's that?
Try to leave your comments on the comment area. We love your comments on there. We'll try to touch base with some of your comments on there.
Oh, yeah. Even if it's negative, we're okay with that. We don't mind. So, all right, man. So we'll see you guys later. Chris, thanks for coming on the show. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. All right?
Be safe, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.